Zoom is here to stay. It is. We're going to be doing Zoom calls for the rest of our lives. Knowing that, I think it's really important that we all stop doing the 10 worst Zoom habits. Habit number 1, what my friend calls the Blair Witch effect. Stop walking around while on a Zoom meeting. I love that you're multitasking while you're on the meeting. You're doing other stuff. You're getting in your steps for your Fitbit. But it's enough. You're giving everyone else in the meeting vertigo as they watch you on this adventure. And you breathe heavier than you think. Like you really do. I'm sorry. But it's true. And the more you walk around, the heavier your breathing gets. And the epic adventure you're taking us on during the weekly sales meeting, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Sit down or stand up if you have one of those desks that rises from the ashes like the phoenix. It's okay for you to sit down or stand up. We're okay with that. We are. Whew. Terrorist lighting. What cave are you calling in from right now? And which of your demands are we supposed to meet first? You've had months to figure out that lighting matters on a Zoom call. Come on out of the dark like Gloria Stefan. You look like a terrorist who should be holding up a copy of today's newspaper so that we all have a bit of proof of life. Get some light on your face and eliminate the light behind you. Some of y'all are doing meetings with the entire sun behind you. It's too much. It burns my skin. Oh, my precious. A simple ring light can do wonders. This one is really, really easy and really, really cheap. So all you do is you clip it just like that right over your camera. Or you can do that on your phone. It fits on your phone perfectly, adds a little bit of light, super cheap, super easy to use. It's got a couple different dimming features, brightnesses. It's rechargeable battery. I love that one. It's about $20 on Amazon. Then I also have a different one that I use that's a little bigger. It's right there. So this one comes with a stand. You can see it's got a remote. I can turn it on with the remote. I can do brightness settings. I can change the color. Adds a little bit more light. And then I even have a big one that I'll sometimes use for big meetings or big presentations where I have to stand up. So you have a bunch of different options. They're not hard. They're not intimidating. You don't have to be a makeup influencer to use a ring light. I love that this one, your phone just clips right there. It's really easy if you're doing a Zoom call. So I've got the links to both to Amazon in the description if you're curious for the small one or the slightly bigger one. The unmade bed in the background. Call me old-fashioned, but if you ever said to me, hey, let's have a work meeting in my bedroom, I'd say, nah, I'm good. I can't believe the number of people who do meetings from their bedroom. A friend went to a massive corporate event recently, and he said the presenters delivering keynotes were delivering them from their bedrooms with unmade beds in the background. Oh, you nasty. Some people will even lay on their bed while doing a Zoom call, like they're Cleopatra. I expect all my grapes to be peeled. I'm living my truth. My truth does not involve grape skins. If you have to do a Zoom call from your bedroom, do it in the corner so that we can't see you. Watch. Follow me. Look. You don't know where I am right now. I could be in an office. I get that you might have to hide out in your room. No problem. But do it in the corner. It looks like an office all of a sudden. I'll let you argue with a lot of these points in the comments, but this one I'm firm on. Never, 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 never do a Zoom call in your bedroom. Habit number 4, wonky camera angles. You know whose upper neck looks good? You know whose upper neck is their best feature? No one. I don't care who you are. Giselle, The Rock, Ryan Reynolds. No one's best angle is their upper neck. Know what else we don't need to see? 7% of your face because 93% is showing your ceiling. We don't need to see all that ceiling. We all own ceilings. We have access to ceilings. We need your face. Center yourself in the frame and make sure the laptop or phone is eye level. How do you do that? Use a box. How amazing have boxes been this year? They've been so generous. You can stack anything on top of this box. Boxes are amazing that way. I've used them over and over again. Sometimes I'll use thick books. Like if I'm in a pinch, this is a one-show advertising annual. It's very thick, it's very helpful. I'll stack on that. Throw a couple of those down and you're good to go. Eventually, a friend of mine said, hey, it's time to stop stacking boxes. And he gave me a Rain Design M stand. Doesn't that sound fancy? I love this thing. My laptop sits right on top and I can see the camera angle perfectly. The link, if you want one, is in the description. Habit number 5, your barking dog. If you follow me on Instagram, you know how much I love dogs. I've told you countless times that I know more dog names than neighbors' names in our neighborhood. That's a true story. I'd go to a dog park right now. I'd stop this video and go to a dog park right now, but friends have told me countless times that it's creepy if you go without having your own dog. I am a huge fan of dogs, but you've got to do something about the one that's somewhere in your house that is apparently being tortured during this Zoom call. It's something terrible is happening somewhere in that house. The problem is we tend to become deaf to the sounds we hear over and over again in our lives. You, the dog owner, can't even hear that incessant, soul-tearing bark at this point. You're so used to it, it doesn't even register for you. Same goes with parenting. I remember that it was always easier for strangers to hear my screaming toddlers at restaurants than it was for me. That's why we would do this crazy thing that we invented. I should have patented it. We do this crazy thing called leave the restaurants if one of my kids had a meltdown. We were like, you know what? Let's do that as an at-home meltdown, not an in Shoney's meltdown. You can't hear it right now, but your dog is absolutely dominating this phone call. And he wasn't even invited. He's not even on the agenda. He has no action items. You've got to do something about that. Oh. My daughter has a tropical bird. Yes, my daughter has a tropical bird named Buddy. This is Buddy right here. Can you imagine if that's very loud in my ear. Can you imagine if I showed up I know, stop, Buddy. Can you imagine if I showed up at a Zoom call? No, stay on my arm. With this on my shoulder and just said like, oh, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Karen, good to see you. How's your family? Shh. Can you chill? We're in the middle of a Zoom call. I'd be like some weird suburban pirate. Get back on my shoulder. Come on. Whoa, there you go. That's what you're doing. Like, dogs might be different, but you might as well have your dog on your shoulder. And Buddy, we like to play a game called How Long Until Buddy Bites Me. Because what happens is Buddy sits on my shoulder and then gets real interested in my neck. See, right now she's like, I bet I could hey, no. This is where she's gonna go to the back of my neck and try to groom it like I'm a bird. I would never bring my bird to a meeting. So just be aware of your dog or your cat or your tropical lovebird or your iguana. If you're a snake guy, just be careful about that too. Be very deliberate. Stay on my shoulder. Oh, come on. What do you do if you have a barking dog or a tropical bird, especially if you're stuck at home and there's nowhere to put the dog or the bird? Well, that brings me to habit number 6, not knowing how to use the mute button. Has there ever been a simpler piece of technology that has baffled so many people so severely? The problem is that we mute ourselves when we're supposed to be talking. Sorry, I was on mute. When we want to talk, we're on mute. And then when we should be on mute, when our dog is barking, when the inevitable leaf blower guy has materialized out of thin air, because that's how you attract somebody to cut your lawn. You start a Zoom call and then they show up. Or maybe it's just not our turn to talk. We forget to turn the mute on. Here's the thing, familiarize yourself with this button. It only has one function, but it is glorious. I'm going to blow your, if you don't know about the mute button, get ready. I'm about to blow your mind. Habit number 7, eating and drinking while on Zoom. Did you realize how many people in your life were smackers before Zoom? Did you have any idea how loud slurping, coffee, or seltzer really was before Zoom? Oh my gosh, yeah. So glad we got this Zoom call. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. You didn't know that. You didn't know any of that before Zoom, because the weird thing is, when you had a real room with a real meeting at a real table, you could eat a bagel. Half the meetings I went to in corporate America were catered. They were, but here's the difference. Here's the difference. These are Frito scoops, by the way. Love a scoop. None of us, when we're in real meetings, were wearing a mic. We didn't have microphones that were amplifying every time we chewed or gulped or snacked. I know. You're quiet. You're dainty. You eat like Tom Hanks enjoying baby corn in the movie Big. But I promise you, you're louder and grosser than you think. We all are. Stop eating and drinking on Zoom. Unless this is a happy hour. If you're doing some sort of happy hour thing, obviously the whole point of that is you have a little drink and talk with your coworkers, whatever. But for the most part, oh, sorry, that was really good. And this is, by the way, the greatest flavor of seltzer in the world. It's mint mojito. Woo! It's at Walmart. If you haven't tried this yet, this is my jam. But I shouldn't drink it during Zoom, and I shouldn't eat Frito scoops, although I love them. It's crazy to me, it took us so long to figure out that our chip should be the size and shape of a scoop, like a little shovel, like a mouth shovel for dip. I don't know why it took us so long to get there, but we did. We're the generation that figured out scoops. So next time somebody's like, the world is falling apart, be like, well, we came up with the scoop. The one-on-one Zoom call. Why did we all decide that we hate the phone and that every meeting, even quick one-on-one conversations, has to be done via Zoom? When did that happen? You know what you never said in January of 2020? Ugh, this phone call is good, but it would be even better if I could be staring at your face, directly into your face at the same time, judging your entire background, and only able to do it really well when I'm in good Wi-Fi. I wish this phone call was breaking up more often and pausing awkwardly when your face is like. Also, when you needed to talk to a coworker or client last January, did you force them to do a FaceTime call? Did you use FaceTime that way? Or did you just call them on the phone? We're so addicted to Zoom right now that we've started doing one-on-one calls with it. And I admit, if you're interviewing somebody and you need to pick up on body language and understand them, and they're coming in for a job and you have to do it virtually, Zoom works. It does. It works better than a phone call. Or I guess a second scenario would be if you need to share your screen. Like if you need to share your screen with the person you're talking to, by all means, a Zoom. But I still think that 90% of our one-on-one calls will be better on the phone than on Zoom. Other than my wife and kids, I never once thought in the entire year of 2019, man, I wish I could stare directly into somebody else's eyes instead of just talking to them on the phone. I wish I could do that and we could be so awkward together. I never thought that. Stop doing one-on-one Zoom calls. Habit number 9, the lone wolf camera refusal. I get it. Your room is dirty. Your shirt that you're wearing is a Natty Light seltzer shirt celebrating the seltzer the world wasn't waiting for. You know how many times I've been drinking a Natty Light and thought, I wish this Natty Light also tasted like mango and peach for a tropical feel. 0 times. That's how many times I've thought that. Maybe your hair is out of control. You don't want to be on camera. But then you realize that every single other person in the meeting has their camera on. If you decide to go rogue, and that's your choice, and not turn your camera on, I need you to know that the other 9 members of the meeting are spending the entire rest of the meeting trying to guess why you don't have the video on. Is he in a meth lab right now? Is that why? Does he have a terrible quarantine mustache? There's no other kind, by the way. If you have one right now, it's terrible and your friends don't know how to tell you this is a call out. Could that be the reason? What's Brett hiding? What doesn't he want us to see? Go on camera if everybody else is on camera. The habit number 10, Zoom calls while driving. How in the world is texting while driving illegal, but people are still doing Zoom calls while rolling down the highway at 70 miles per hour? Unless you're a doctor and you're guiding your team through a difficult emergency surgery. There's a procedure. There's been a nun who works with orphans who's been hurt, and you have to get to the hospital and you have to Zoom at the same time. I can't imagine. It's hard for me to imagine you ever needing to Zoom while driving. I don't know how to break this to you, but you're not that important. The Zoom meeting is not that important. I promise. Those are what I think are the 10 worst Zoom habits, but I'm sure I missed a few. Maybe you disagree with a few. That's fine. What's your pet peeve? Please let me know in the comments below. What is your Zoom pet peeve?